Hello and welcome to the 2019 Gold Derby TV Awards. I'm Joyce Eng. I'm here with my fellow editors, Susan Wloszczyna, Chris Beachum, Daniel Montgomery, Marcus James Dixon, and Paul Sheehan. Is that everyone? I think so. We'll be announcing the winners in 30 categories today as voted on by you guys, our users. So we have issues if any of them don't take it up with us, especially if you didn't vote. But more than 1,500 of you guys voted for the winners today, and this is our 16th year doing this. You could go back on IMDb and check all the winners and nominees, and all the winners today will get a certificate. And we already actually gave out one award earlier this summer, Career Achievement, to Bob Newhart, so congratulations to him. That was not competitive. All the awards today are competitive, so let's get to it. Our first category is Animated Series. The nominees are Big Mouth, Bob's Burgers, BoJack Horseman, Family Guy, The Simpsons, and South Park. And the winner is BoJack Horseman.
Yep, this was not close. BoJack Horseman had about a 150 vote advantage over second place Big Mouth. This is the fourth win in a row for BoJack Horseman, which actually ties the record in this category. Family Guy also won 4 times.
Where was Emmy winner The Simpsons?
Like Sunday night. Yeah.
No Simpsons. The Simpsons has won 3 times with us, but not since 2015. Actually, Simpsons was the last non-BoJack winner in this category.
Well, it's time to get real with reality host. The nominees are Nicole Byer, Nailed It, RuPaul Charles, RuPaul's Drag Race, Ellen DeGeneres, Ellen's Game of Games, Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman, Making It, Jeff Probst, Survivor, the Queer Eye team for Queer Eye, and the winner is RuPaul Charles. I'm sure he won before.
Yeah, he's won before. He won, let me see, I have that list. Yeah, this is a 3rd win in a row for RuPaul Charles in this race, and this also wasn't close. It wasn't as big a blowout as the last category. RuPaul won by about 100 votes over the Queer Eye guys. And actually, Amy Poehler, Nick Offerman, and the Queer Eye hosts were very, very close in 2nd and 3rd. Like, no one really challenged RuPaul.
Jeff Probst was robbed.
Because we also have 4 Gold Derby awards.
No, but he does have one. He won in 2011.
Okay. I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. I'm rude. I'm sorry. I'll fix it later. But for now, we have to do competition program. And the nominees are American Idol, The Masked Singer, Nailed It, RuPaul's Drag Race, Survivor, and The Voice. And you might have guessed this, the winner is RuPaul's Drag Race.
For the 4th year in a row, the last non-RuPaul winner in this category was The Voice in 2015.
We've been rewarding that show long before the Emmys.
Yeah, and this was a gigantic blowout. This, RuPaul's Drag Race had more votes than the next 3 combined. Nailed It, Survivor, and The Voice.
So I'm going to put Marcus on the spot. 4 of these shows are 4 of his favorite shows on television.
Mm-hmm.
How, in our voting system, you can only vote for 1. How in the world did you narrow it down to 1?
Oh, well, I put Survivor at number 1. That was an easy vote for me because it's one of my all-time favorite shows. Like when I rank, like I have the X-Files and Lost and Arrested Development and Survivor. That's one of my top shows of all time. So this was an easy call.
Even now?
Yeah, it's still good.
It's because I think, Marcus, I think what you like about it is that it reinvents itself and it's not the same thing season in and season out. I think that would have been Jeff Probst on the phone, Susan, complaining that he didn't win.
Okay. I told him to go away and he has work to do tonight. So
well, let's see who's going to call you next. We're now on to Variety Talk Series, and the nominees are Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, Late Late Show with James Corden, and Just the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And the winner is the Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Another pretty big blowout win. It had more votes than the next two combined, which were Late Late Show with James Corden and Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So the lates split the vote. This is John Oliver's fourth win in a row with us. I promise everyone watching, this gets more suspenseful after this.
I'm glad we did all of these first.
Don't you?
Yeah.
He only does that. If there's just one show a week, he should only get like 1/5 of an award. I mean, some of those other people are doing 5 shows in a week. So
He also takes like weeks off at a time.
now we're moving on to Variety Sketch Series, and the nominees are At Home with Amy Sedaris, Documentary Now, Drunk History, Saturday Night Live, Tracy Ullman's Show, and Who is America? And the winner is Saturday Night Live.
Third win in a row in a blowout victory over second place Documentary Now, and there was a little support scattered for the other 4. But yeah, SNL always had this, and it was the last time SNL lost was actually when these categories, we had them combined in 2016. And that was when Last Week Tonight won for the first time.
Aren't they glad they had that switch to 2 at the Emmys, 2 sketch and talk, because now they're dominating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our first acting categories of today are, we'll start with Movie Limited Series Supporting Actor. And the nominees are George Clooney for Catch-22, Paul Dano for Escape at Dannemora, Chris Messina for Sharp Objects, Stellan Skarsgård for Chernobyl, Ben Whishaw for A Very English Scandal, and Michael Kenneth Williams for When They See Us. And our winner, first time ever, I believe, at the Gold Derby Awards is Ben Whishaw.
Yep, that is his first award, and a pretty big victory, which surprises me a little because even we didn't nominate A Very English Scandal for limited series. It wasn't quite in our top 5, so the fact that he won this so decisively is pretty impressive.
I still can't believe George Clooney made it in here.
Yeah, he just
I never
barely,
heard anyone talk about their show very much. So
yeah, he just barely squeaked in. He squeaked
George
in, and
Clooney.
everyone was upset. You know, that's like, oh, we're name checking more than the Emmys, and I don't disagree with that. Like, I'm not sure why so many people voted for Catch-22 when there didn't seem to be that much enthusiasm overall for it.
That was his only nomination here, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Movie Limited Supporting Actress. The nominees are Patricia Arquette for The Act, Patricia Clarkson for Sharp Objects, Vera Farmiga for When They See Us, Eliza Scanlon for Sharp Objects, Emma Thompson for King Lear, and Emily Watson for Chernobyl. And our Gold Derby Award winner this year is Patricia. Patricia Clarkson for Sharp Objects.
Yeah, and it's interesting that this one wasn't close. Patricia Clarkson had like a 200 vote lead over second place Emily Watson in Chernobyl. And this one's interesting because Patricia Clarkson's the only one who had a potential vote split problem here. And Eliza Scanlon finished down in 4th and didn't pull nearly enough support to even threaten Clarkson's lead here. Clarkson's actually won 3 times with us now. She won Drama Guest Actress for 6 Feet Under, and then she won Drama Guest Actress of the Decade for 6 Feet Under.
Wow. Aren't these 2 the Golden Globe winners?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Now let's do Movie Limited Series Actor and Actress. For Actor, the nominees are Mahershala Ali, True Detective, Benicio del Toro, Escape at Dannemora, Hugh Grant, A Very English Scandal, Jared Harris, Chernobyl, Jarrell Jerome, When They See Us, and Sam Rockwell, Fosse Verdon. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Jarrell Jerome, When They See Us.
His first win at these awards. He's also nominated for Breakthrough Performance, which we'll announce later, the result of that one. This is always a 2-way race between Jared Harris and Jarrell Jerome, but Jarrell ended up with a pretty comfortable 60-vote lead, so that was pretty decisive.
Mm-hmm. And he's winning next week at the Emmys, right?
I think so, personally.
Honestly, I think this helps me make that decision. Because
well, for actress.
So overperformed.
Oh, go ahead.
We're cutting over each other. Go ahead, Marcus. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying go ahead.
You go ahead. We need to get the answers. People don't care about all this extra stuff other than the vote totals.
Okay. So movie limited actress, we have Amy Adams, Sharp Objects, Patricia Arquette, Escape at Dannemora, Carla Gugino, The Haunting of Hill House, Joey King, The Act, Emma Stone, Maniac, and Michelle Williams, Fosse Verdon. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Amy Adams, Sharp Objects.
Yeah. This looked like it was going to be a blowout after the nominations round because Amy Adams had so big a points lead in that round, but this was a 2-point margin. 2 votes between Amy Adams and Michelle Williams in second place.
It's okay to win the Emmy.
Yeah, I think Michelle Williams has the advantage at the Emmys, and this convinces me of that because Michelle Williams had a gigantic lead in second place over Patricia Arquette in third.
Also, our readers are just obsessed with Amy Adams and Sharp Objects.
Yeah. But interesting. This was a 2-vote margin, but it's only the second closest race at these awards, and we will get to what was even closer than 2 votes. So that's 2 wins.
There's only one answer for that.
Without being a tie.
Yeah. I will spoil that and say it's not a tie. The nominees for Best Limited Series are Chernobyl, Fosse Verdon, The Haunting of Hill House, Sharp Objects, and When They See Us. And the Gold Derby Award in that category goes to Chernobyl, which is interesting given that it's the only win for Chernobyl. And what's surprising, and it gives me pause for the Emmys, because I'm predicting When They See Us for the Emmys at the moment, but Chernobyl won this decisively. Even though Jarrell Jerome won actor, and Chernobyl didn't win anything else from us, Chernobyl won this award very, very decisively.
Our forums have been consumed with Chernobyl, and not nearly as much as When They See Us. So I think this could be a Gold Derby thing, and it might not translate next week. But that's the other reason why I was going to say this one, Marcus. The fact that Jared Harris couldn't ride that Chernobyl with our people makes me feel like Jarrell's got that at the Emmys. Jared, as much as everybody loves Chernobyl at our website, not talking about our editors, I'm talking about our users. Jared couldn't ride that, so I don't think he can. I don't think he can beat Jarrell next week.
And
I think if there's one win for When They See Us, it'll be Jarrell.
Yeah, at the Emmys, the acting branch is so big and dominant, and they clearly prefer When They See Us over Chernobyl. So you have to keep that in mind.
I think Jarrell will win the Emmy, but I have Chernobyl winning limited. So, and this makes me feel better about it.
Well, we've led ourselves astray before, so we'll see. One of us will be right, or all of us will be wrong. So, as it's usually the case,
it'll be like Fosse Verdon. So.
And the nominees for Best TV Movie are Black Mirror for Bandersnatch, Brexit, Deadwood the movie, King Lear, and Sense8 for More Vincent Omnia, that finale movie that I voted for before in the nominations round. But our winner is Black Mirror Bandersnatch. And what surprised me, I thought Deadwood would do better here, and it was always a close two-way race between the two of them, but Bandersnatch had the lead for most of the voting. It won by about 30 votes.
Where was
none of these movies had a single other nomination, right?
No, none of them had a single other nomination. And this is actually the third win in a row for Black Mirror. It won San Junipero in 2017 and USS Callister in 2018.
Where did your precious Sense8 finish?
Sense8 finished third, I'm happy to say. It wasn't a close third, but it was third. Like, I'm not surprised. I figured, because that's a very online, passionate fan base, I figured it would have more passionate support than King Lear or Brexit. So I'll take the bronze.
Well, next we have Drama Guest Actor. The nominees are James Cromwell for Succession, Ron Cephas-Jones for This Is Us, Dylan McDermott for American Horror Story Apocalypse, Michael McKean for Better Call Saul, Christopher Maloney for Pose, and Bradley Whitford for The Handmaid's Tale. And the winner is Bradley Whitford, just like at the Emmys.
I thought this would be closer, but won by more than 100 votes over Michael McKeon. And then Christopher Maloney was about 70 more points down in third place.
I want to mention one quick little thing because we can reveal one thing about the ceremony this weekend that hasn't been revealed. Bradley Whitford, we saw him, and I said, well, now you get to present at next week's Emmy Awards, and I get this kind of cool. You'll present with Sherry Jones from your same show. He said, oh, well, they had already lined me up to present ahead of before this, and I'm presenting with Jimmy Smith's. So we got a little bit of a West Wing reunion going on. That hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah, speaking of which, this is actually Bradley Whitford's first Gold Derby TV award, because we didn't start until a little later in the West Wing's run, so he didn't win for that, and he didn't win for Transparent.
Next is Drama Guest Actress. The nominees are Laverne Cox, Orange is the New Black; Cherry Jones, The Handmaid's Tale; Jessica Lange, American Horror Story Apocalypse; Felicia Rashad, This Is Us; Cicely Tyson, How to Get Away with Murder; and Carice Van Houten, Game of Thrones. And the winner is, shocking, Jessica Lange, American Horror Story Apocalypse.
This was one of the closer races. This was a 18-vote margin over Carice Van Houten. It was always a two-way race between those. They traded the lead back and forth, and then Jessica Lange just kind of pulled ahead and kept the lead. This is actually only her third Gold Derby TV award. You'd think the fanboys at Gold Derby would be insane about Jessica Lange all the time, but she won for the first season of Horror Story and for Coven, just like at the Emmys.
Wait, how did Felicia Rashad factor in?
Felicia Rashad finished third, and she was about 150 votes out of winning. And Sherry Jones was next place in fourth place, but she was pretty much a non-factor. Fourth through sixth, they're pretty close together with not too many votes. Sherry Jones was over 220 votes out of a win.
Bye, Felicia.
Okay, more drama here. Supporting actor, Alfie Allen, Game of Thrones; Jonathan Banks, Better Call Saul; Bobby Cannavale, Homecoming. Is it Nikolai?
Nikolai.
Waldo? Okay, good. And he Game of Thrones. Peter Dinklage, Game of Thrones; and Jocelyn Hartley, This Is Us. And the winner is Peter Dinklage. Of course, yeah.
Total blowout over Jonathan Banks in second place and Nikolai Coster-Waldau in third place. Another case where there could have been potential for vote splitting, but it did not hurt Peter Dinklage. Although, lest our viewers and users roll their eyes, we weren't as Dinklage crazy as the Emmys were. This is actually only his second win at the Gold Derby.
Okay, time for the ladies. Supporting actress drama, Gwendolyn Christie, Game of Thrones; Julia Garner, Ozark; Lena Headey, Game of Thrones; Rhea Seehorn, Better Call Saul; Fiona Shaw, Killing Eve; and Maisie Williams, Game of Thrones. And Maisie wins it.
Yes.
Maisie's first win at the Gold Derby Awards. This was a close one. This was a close one from top to bottom. There were only about 80 votes separating first from last place. And the Game of Thrones actresses did split the vote, but not enough to keep Maisie from winning. She beat Julia Garner by 14 votes and Lena Headey by 16 votes. So the top three were within 16 votes of each other. She's won twice with us before, so she shouldn't have been that high.
This is my Emmy pick. I do have Maisie Williams winning, so this makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, but interesting how sometimes vote splitting happens and doesn't hurt the nominees. So it's very hard to tell without seeing what the actual Emmy vote totals, which cases of vote splitting are actually the problematic ones for the nominees and which ones aren't.
So now the leading men in drama series: Jason Bateman in Ozark, Sterling K. Brown in This Is Us, Kit Harington in Game of Thrones, Richard Madden in Bodyguard, Bob Odenkirk in Better Call Saul, and Billy Porter in Pose. And the winner is Billy Porter in Pose.
That was a pretty safe victory. He won by more than 40 votes over. Actually, second place was Richard Madden for Bodyguard, and Bob Odenkirk was in third. And then there was a pretty steep drop-off after that.
And then the leading ladies in drama series, Emilia Clarke in Game of Thrones, Jodie Comer in Killing Eve, Laura Linney in Ozark, Sandra Oh in Killing Eve, Julia Roberts in Homecoming, and MJ Rodriguez in Pose. And the winner is Jodie Comer in Killing Eve.
Another case of vote splitting. Jodie and Sandra did split the vote. They were almost like 1 and 2. They were about 50 votes apart, but they finished 1 and 2, even though they significantly split the vote. Emilia Clarke was in third place, but the vote splitting wasn't enough to help her. And everyone else had kind of scattered support, but it was really that top 3 that had the lion's share. But yeah, another interesting case, vote splitting, but still one of them won.
Our voters don't necessarily love Ozark as much as the Emmy voters do, so it'll be interesting to see.
Jodie Comer.
Yeah. Laura Linney finished dead last. That was not a surprise to me.
Let's not
her getting her revenge next weekend.
She has 4 Emmys. She could win a 5th. And honestly, I think she should have an Oscar and a Tony by now too. So
yeah, but just because she finished 6th out of probably how many people were in the roster of potential nominees, Chris? But when you created the prediction center, I mean, there were probably 30 or 40. Yeah.
Usually around 40, 50, 60.
Yeah, because I think for anyone watching, they have to know this is the second part we do, just like the Emmys, right, Chris? Where there's the nominations phase.
Right. They get to rank in the first round, and well, the Emmys don't rank, but you get to choose 3 in the first round. But here you just pick 1, which is like the Emmys.
Yeah. So.
Finishing up drama, and then we move on to comedy. Drama episode, and the award will go to the director and the writers of the episode. Nominees are Bodyguard for the pilot, episode 1, Game of Thrones for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Game of Thrones for The Long Night, Killing Eve, Do You Know How to Dispose of a Body, Pose for Love is the Message, and Pose for Mother of. And our winner is Game of Thrones, The Long Night.
Another case of potential vote splitting that didn't end up costing Game of Thrones the win. It beat Killing Eve by about 50 votes, which I'd say Killing Eve should win the award for Best Episode Title. But yeah, and then A Night of the Seven Kingdoms was down in 4th place with actually substantial support, but not enough to hurt Long Night. And episode 1 of Bodyguard was actually in 3rd place.
In honor of the Long Night winning, we should all turn off our cameras so that the screen goes black.
For the
Yeah, everybody turn off your lighting so that you can't really see what's going on. Drama series, 7 nominees, just like the Emmys. Better Call Saul, Bodyguard, Game of Thrones, Homecoming, Killing Eve, Pose, and This Is Us. And get ready to be shocked out of your seats. No, just kidding. Game of Thrones is our winner.
Yep. This was a comfortable victory. It had the lead throughout. None of us were surprised when we saw it win. But it was closer in the winners round than it was during the nominations round. It only beat Killing Eve by about 50 votes, which in this case was pretty close. And then Pose was in 3rd place.
So moving on to comedy, the first one will be comedy guest actor. And the nominees are Luke Kirby, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. He just won at the Creative Arts Emmys. Peter McNichol for Veep. Lin-Manuel Miranda for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. John Mulaney for Saturday Night Live. Adam Sandler for Saturday Night Live. And Adam Scott for The Good Place. And the Gold Derby Award does not go to Luke Kirby. It goes to Peter McNichol.
Yes, but it almost went to Luke Kirby. I I was sort of kicking myself after he was announced the Emmy winner because Luke Kirby finished such a close second in this category that I should have known that it meant something. So yeah, Luke Kirby lost by 21 votes. And then Adam Scott was in third place, very close to that, lost by only about 30 some odd votes. John Mulaney, very close in fourth place, lost by about 40 votes. So the top four was really bunched up.
Comedy guest actress. We have Kate Blanchett, documentary now. Jane Lynch, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, who just won the Emmy. Sandra Oh for Saturday Night Live. Sally Phillips for Veep. Maya Rudolph for The Good Place. And Fiona Shaw for Fleabag. And the win.
Don't Warren Beatty us on this, Marcus.
you cut out as soon as you were saying the name, so you have to say it again.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Wait, did you not hear the nominees?
No.
We heard the nominees.
We heard the nominees.
We did not hear
You
the
just
winner.
heard, and the winner is.
Oh, okay. No, I did say it.
La
Okay, the
La
winner is
Land.
Maya Rudolph, The Good Place.
Okay. Maya Rudolph for The Good Place there. That was a blowout victory, her second win in a row for The Good Place. And that brings us to the supporting categories. We have Best Comedy Supporting Actor. The nominees are Titus Burgess, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Anthony Carrigan, Barry, Tony Hale for Veep, Andrew Scott for Fleabag, Tony Shalhoub for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Henry Winkler for Barry. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Hot Priest himself, Andrew Scott.
I love that he won.
And actually tied for second were Tony Shalhoub and Titus Burgess. Titus Burgess won this award. Titus Burgess won this award for the last 4 years in a row. He holds the record in this category and still managed to finish a respectable third in this category. Now, here's one where vote splitting was a problem, because if you add up Anthony Carrigan in fourth place and Henry Winkler's votes in fifth place, they would go ahead of Andrew Scott. So that vote split was actually consequential. Assuming that, if only one of them were in there, all of the other person's votes would have gone there.
Mm-hmm.
So for Best Comedy Supporting Actress, the nominees are Alex Borstein for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Darcy Carden for The Good Place, Anna Klumsky for Veep, Olivia Colman for Fleabag, Betty Gilpin for Glow, and Kate McKinnon for Saturday Night Live. And the Gold Derby Award goes to, for the second year in a row, Darcy Carden for The Good Place. And this was the closest category at the Gold Derby Awards. 1 vote margin between Darcy Carden and Olivia Colman in second place. Everyone else was pretty far behind, although everyone had a smattering of support. No one had fewer than 100 votes in this category, so it was a really strong showing all around. But yeah, Carden and Coleman 1 and 2 by 1 vote, which makes me wonder, because Darcy Carden, Gold Derby loves her. She won this last year. She's the first back-to-back winner in this category for us since Kristen Chenoweth for Pushing Daisies. But the fact that Coleman came on so strong here makes me wonder about the Emmys, because Coleman finished well ahead of Borstein in third place.
Was Darcy ahead this whole time? Like, did Olivia ever overtake her?
Interestingly, Darcy was ahead the whole time, but it only got closer and closer as time went on. I suspect if there was one more week of voting that Olivia might have pulled it out.
I wonder if Olivia Colman beat Glenn Close by 1 vote. That'd be awesome.
Next, we have the lead categories.
I would love to know.
For comedy actor, we have Ted Danson, The Good Place, Michael Douglas, The Kominsky Method, Bill Hader, Barry, Eugene Levy, Schitt's Creek, Jim Parsons, The Big Bang Theory, and Andy Samberg, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And the winner is Bill Hader for Barry.
It's gigantic win. He had more votes than the next 3 combined, though Ted Danson finished second for The Good Place, and Eugene Levy finished third for Schitt's Creek. interestingly, this was a blowout, even though Barry didn't win last year. We gave this to Donald Glover last year. So this is his first win in this category. But we did give Bill Hader guest actor last year for SNL, so this is actually his second acting.
And in comedy actress, we have Christina Applegate, Dead to Me, Rachel Brosnahan, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Veep, Natasha Lyonne, Russian Doll, Catherine O'Hara, Schitt's Creek, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Fleabag. And the winner is Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah, this was another one that was fascinating and suspenseful to watch as we were seeing the votes come in, because Julia Louis-Dreyfus started in the lead in this category, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge just kept building support and ended up ahead of Julia by just 20 votes. So this was close.
Wow. No goodbye hug for Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Interesting.
But we have hugged her before. She's won not as many times as she's won at the Emmys. We gave it to her 3 times, 2014, 16, and 17. So 3 wins is pretty good.
Well, next is comedy episode, and it's Barry for Ronnie Lilly, Fleabag for episode 2.1, which was the premiere episode, and also Fleabag episode 2.6, which was the last episode, The Good Place, Janet's, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, We're Going to the Catskills, and Veep for Veep. And the winner is Fleabag episode 2.1.
And another case of a potential vote split that didn't end up hurting the winner. Those 2 episodes of Fleabag, the other episode of Fleabag had over 100 votes, but it was close to being a spoiler because Ronnie Lilly finished in second place by 17 votes. So if that other Fleabag episode had pulled a little bit more support from the premiere episode, then it might have caused that vote split to kill Fleabag. But yeah, Fleabag won this. That episode was directed by Harry Bradbeer and written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
And last in the comedy categories is the series. And we have Barry, Fleabag, The Good Place, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Russian Doll, Schitt's Creek, and Veep. And the winner is, you could guess, Fleabag, because it's got a lot of other stuff. So.
Yeah, this makes me wonder about the Emmys, because the top 4 we think are the top 4 at the Emmys, which are Fleabag, Barry, Veep, and Maisel. They were our top 4, but Fleabag was so far ahead of everybody else that it almost had twice as many votes as second place Barry. And then Barry, Veep, and Maisel were very close to each other in second, third, and fourth. So I don't know. I mean, we've never been like Maisel heads here. Like we gave it last year to Atlanta and not Maisel for Best Comedy Series. So maybe that's just a Gold Derby thing. But, that's an interesting result if you're looking ahead to the Emmys.
Wow.
And now the first of the 3 categories that it crosses over all genres. Breakthrough Performer of the Year. The nominees are Asa Butterfield, Hannah Gadsby, Jarrell Jerome, Joey King, MJ Rodriguez, and Eliza Scanlon. And the winner is Jarrell Jerome.
Second win for Jarrell Jerome, and this was a comfortable victory with about 60 votes ahead of Joey King and about 70 votes ahead of MJ Rodriguez. And everyone basically was there was no like complete blowout here where like these votes were fairly evenly distributed.
And now Performer of the Year, we have Amy Adams, Patricia Arquette, Bill Hader, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Billy Porter, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And the Gold Derby Award goes to Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Mm-hmm. Now, this doesn't technically count as a win for Fleabag, since we consider, for Breakthrough and Performer of the Year, we consider sort of cumulative achievements on TV, although primarily Phoebe's achievement this past season was Fleabag. She won this by a pretty hefty margin. She won by 160 votes, over Amy Adams in second place. Patricia Arquette was in third place. And given how close lead actress in a comedy was, I was a little surprised that Julia Louis-Dreyfus didn't do better. I assume most of the votes she got were for lead actress, and so voters felt they could go elsewhere here. But yeah, this was another category with other than the blowout for Phoebe, this was a fairly even distribution. Yeah, but that's 4 wins out of 4 nominations for Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
One thing we have noticed over even though it says Performer of the Year, our voters often think about, oh, they direct or they write or they produce, because we've had people like Donald Glover and
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey and people like that do a lot of different things, and I think they take that into account when they vote.
Yeah, Tina Fey actually was our Performer of the Decade last decade, so that definitely factors in. And now the last category of these awards, Ensemble of the Year, where we combine all ensemble achievements, not just dramas and comedies, but also movies and miniseries, variety programs if they get in. And the nominees for Ensemble of the Year are Chernobyl, Game of Thrones, Good Place, Pose, Deep, and When They See Us. The winner is Game of Thrones, which is the 5th win for that show today at these awards, and I think the 3rd win for that show for Best Ensemble. It's the biggest winner of the year. It's won Best Drama Series now 4 times from us, which is a new record. Our previous record was 3. And I'm pretty sure it's the biggest winner in terms of all awards in Gold Derby Awards history, but I haven't done that count in a while. So, yeah.
You know what? Somebody watching this video will do that count and leave it.
I'm sure they will.
It'll be fascinating to me as we wrap up here. We're about to launch our Gold Derby Decade Awards. Yes, we're at the end of another decade. And one category I'm just so interested to see what the result is going to be, because I feel like they'll both get nominated. Drama series, is it going to be Game of Thrones or is it going to be Breaking Bad? Because our people love both of those so much. Of course, it could be something else that I'm not even naming right now, but the way we're going to do that is, and it's going to launch really soon, it's all these same 30 categories, but it's anything, the ones you'll have to vote for or to choose from, anything nominated at the Emmys in that category, or anything nominated at the Gold Derby Awards in that category. So you'll have some of the categories have 40, 50, 60 entries. So you'll have a lot to choose from. And we're not going to keep it down to 3. You're going to be able to choose up to 5, and you're going to be able to rank them, because I think you're going to have a lot of passion across at least 5 as you're looking at those categories.
Oh, yeah.
You'll only have about 3 weeks to vote, and we'll let you know when that happens. But watch out for that. Please vote for the Emmy winners this weekend. You've got a chance to win an Amazon gift card. And we've got the Oscar nominations up, Grammy nominations up. What else have we got? Golden Globes are coming soon. I'm working on that now. SAG Awards are coming soon. So a whole lot to do. We're going to send out certificates right now to all of these winners, and we often hear from them that they get them framed, and they'll tell us about parties, how much they appreciate winning the Gold Derby Award. So that's always exciting. And then we're all going to put it out on social media today as well, congratulating all of our winners. And thanks to everybody, all the 1,500 of you who have voted. And we'll see you all. Getting all my words fumbled. We will see you all across the weekend, because we got tons and tons of coverage coming up this weekend.